I will now call to order the February 24, 2022 Clackamas County Board of Commissioners business meeting. Gary Schmidt, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Chair Smith. First, our staff support today, Shannon Bays, Clerk to the Board, Stephen Madcourt, County Counsel, Gary Teagan, Rich Marvin, and the video crew from Public and Government Affairs. Roll call. Commissioner Fisher.
Here.
Commissioner Shull.
Here.
Commissioner Schrader.
Here.
Commissioner Savas.
Present.
Chair Smith.
Here. Thank you very much. Did we all have fun sliding on the snow this morning? Yes. But if you notice, our county road crew had sprayed the roads earlier in the week because of the cold temperatures, and it obviously worked. So I made it out of my driveway down a mile-long hill, and hey, I had no problems, but thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. We are holding this meeting virtually. If you've joined us via Zoom for this meeting and are interested in providing public comment, we will prompt you regarding how to do that when the time is right. General public comment will be taken at the usual allotted time. As always, the public is welcome to sign up to testify. Registration for public comment via Zoom is available online. I would like to remind all participants, including staff, all elected officials, and members of the public that Robert's Rules of Order will be enforced in this business meeting. We welcome your opinions and look forward to your polite participation. To begin, I will recess as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as a Water Environment Services Board. Gary, can you introduce the first item, please?
Yes, Chair Smith. Would you like to lead us in the flag salute first, Chair Smith?
I forgot that. Thank you very much. I will now lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Gary, for that reminder.
Thank you, Chair Smith. So Commissioners, you are now meeting as the Water Environment Services Board of Directors. This is a board discussion item. Approval of a goods and services contract between Water Environment Services and Tribeca Transport, LLC for long-haul biosolids transport and application. Maximum contract value is $2 million, funded through Water Environment Services operational funds. No county general funds are involved. This is a board discussion item. Greg Geist is the Director of Water Environment Services. He is here. Greg, would you please give a quick presentation before the board discusses? Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Good morning, Chair Smith and Commissioners. This has been in front of the board a few times now, so I know you're all very familiar with it. It is a contract whereby we would outsource the hauling of our cake biosolids from our Tri-City facility and Kellogg facilities. Right now, that work is done in-house by Wes staff and using Wes equipment. Back in August, we solicited bids to get a private contractor to do that piece of work. Those bids came in. It's significantly cheaper than what we can do it for. And it is time to actually make a decision about awarding or executing that contract. Just rough numbers. Right now, over the course of the next 5 years, we would save approximately $3.5 million. And as part of the discussions, we've been talking about this since 2009 or 2019 with the union and with the board and with our advisory committee. And we've made a firm commitment that the two positions that would be impacted by this, which are not currently filled by union employees. We have temporary drivers. We had retirements happen in this program. And so we're at kind of a crossroads. We have a window of opportunity where we wouldn't be impacting union employees in their day-to-day activities. And we've committed to retaining those positions within our department. So no union jobs will be impacted, no union jobs will be lost. We will refill those positions in our operations with other union positions, likely at higher compensation. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions for Greg Geist on this? Commissioner Savas.
Yeah, Greg, I think the way it is, I know it's kind of a complex issue, frankly, and some of the stuff that we have discussed has been in executive session because it's on the delicate side. So we can't disclose everything. So it makes it hard to be truly transparent. In recognition of that, I always struggle a little bit when I see, something that is an annual benefit be portrayed in a 5-year setup like this one here. But as I see it, some of the 5-year, what you have is bottled up here is a 5-year savings at the numbers you just indicated. That won't be the same in the following 5 years, for example, right? I mean, you have some one-time savings hypothetically, this is likely to pass today. I see that happening. But in the following 5 years, you don't realize those same exact savings. So what I'm forced to do is just really look at the annual. I think that clears away some of the misunderstanding, frankly, that I think that people might have about this as far as the savings. So I see 2 positions. Okay, the salary range in those positions is 44,000 to about 60K. So there's 2 positions potentially here that we're talking about either reassigning or whatnot for a total of, maybe 150, 180 some odd $1,000 annualized together combined with roll-ups. So I just see that as the real number that I would want to use to see year after year after year, obviously with some inflationary elements. But the part that's difficult to talk about here, which is relatively, again, protected under executive session, is the workforce issues, the labor contracts, the need to have good people and to respect the workers that we have in a time where we don't need any more people, aligning themselves with a great resignation to move on to something else. So as an employer, I really respect and value what employees bring to the table. And I think that relationship and how we navigate this I think we can get there from here. It's just unfortunate that the timeline is what it is. So what I'm asking is to you, the question here I want to ask is, recognizing the annualized actual labor savings versus the one-time savings, what is it that will really be lost if this is extended for a period of time to where we can work this out in a mutual way?
Well, I guess we will lose the opportunity. We have temporary drivers right now in those positions. And we're at the end. It is really becoming untenable to have temporary drivers for extended amounts of time in these positions that are union positions. It's just not the right thing to do, and we need to make the call. The other thing is we do need to invest in our fleet. As you probably know, with supply chain issues, we're looking at a year time frame to get new equipment, trucks, trailers, things like that. So we really need to make a decision now. And I did speak about the $3.5 million, and some of that is one-time savings. We would sell the fleet that we have now, and that's about 500,000, and then we would avoid investing in our fleet over the next 5 years, and that's 1.7 million. Whether that would be 1.7 million every 5 years moving forward, I don't know the exact answer to that. I think it would fluctuate, but that's a cost that would continue to happen because we would continually need to reinvest in our fleet. So that projection for the next 5 years, in 5 years could be $1 million. It could be $3 million. I don't know the answer to that. But the 1.2 million in the net present value is what we will be saving over the next 5 years, just from taking away any one-time savings or fleet savings.
Yeah,
cost to run the program.
Yeah, thank you for that. I understand that the way you're presenting this is that it's either a go or no go. What I'm saying is that I think that the in between, the negotiation or the work through to get us in a better place is something in between that, and that's what I'm striving for. But if we don't get there today, we don't get there. But that's what I'm striving for, and I think that's what I've been sharing with you in our discussions we've had for the last couple, 3 months here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I just, for the record, I just want to say, and I hope that people know that this absolutely comes from the heart. I have the utmost respect, admiration for the work that our union employees do. I value them every day. I tell them all the time. I act consistent with that. This is not something, and I realize that this is a difficult issue. I feel like I have a fiduciary duty to our ratepayers. So I feel like I need to bring this forward. I feel like we did it in the most thoughtful, communicative, and kind way that we possibly could, and agreed to preserve these positions and elevate these positions moving forward. So I feel like at the end of the day, we did this as well as we could. I agree the timing isn't ideal. So yeah.
Point, Commissioner Scholl, you have your hand up next, but there's a point of clarification, if you don't mind, that I ask about. As a matter of fact, Greg, have we not been discussing this with the board for at least 6 months?
Yes, Chair.
Did you say in your opening, I want to be clear on this, point of clarification, these two positions are currently not filled by union employees?
Correct.
They're filled by temps, and those two positions will be filled at a higher rate
Yes.
by union employees. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say this, management, because of the balancing act that we have at the county, management always has a purview to manage their assets and their departments according to what they think is the best practices for the ratepayers, for the citizens who pay our taxes, and our valued employees. Commissioners, we make decisions like this weekly, and we always struggle. Sometimes decisions are easier, and sometimes we struggle. But this is within the authority of this particular agency that's standalone. We're doing this because it's good economic sense, and it also reduces our liability. Now, Greg, how many jurisdictions are currently already moved to this model that are about our size? And are there any jurisdictions that you know of that are currently hauling their own biosolids cake matter?
I can't say specifically. I know that, Clean Water Services, Gresham, the city of Portland, virtually all of the entities of a significant size are contract out their hauling and have been doing so for, in some cases, decades. I don't know of anyone of our size that continues to do their in-house hauling.
And Clean Water Services is Washington County, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you. Okay, we have 3 commissioners with their hands raised. Commissioner Scholl, you're up.
Yes, good morning. Greg Geist, I want to thank you and your staff for the many months of work that you put in on this. I know it's not been easy, but I concur with you and your staff that contracting out this long haul of biosolids is in the best interest of your ratepayers, the future of West, and to the people of Clackamas County. And I wholeheartedly agree with you on your request to have this contracted out. Thank you.
Commissioner Fisher, you're up.
Thank you, Chair Smith. And Greg, I really appreciate the heart that you have, which I know so well. And I have seen over the years that demonstrated in your care for the work, your care for the employees, the community, the overall values. And I'm not in question at all. And also appreciate your transparency and forthrightness. I want to piggyback on some things that Commissioner Savas has said. And Stephen, will you take off your glasses if I'm misspeaking at all, please? So I'm looking straight at you, but I want to preserve our executive session confidentiality. But I have some deep concerns about the timing of this, and that we're in contract negotiations, and the spirit that this agreement sends to our workforce. Like Commissioner Savas, I have deep concerns, and I think the timing is terrible. And I expect that the union will object to this. I expect it will raise more conflict. And you're not taking off your glasses yet, Stephen Madcore, so I appreciate that. And that alone is enough of a reason for me to have a no vote today. But I have some other issues I want the commission to consider. So first of all, we've all heard in an executive session and even in public session, my concern about when we contract out, this is big picture that I'm talking about here. When we contract out services, we're using ratepayer dollars or county general fund dollars or federal dollars. We're using some sort of collective dollars, and we make the decision about those dollars. My overall concern is, what is our criteria for doing that? Are we making sure that the jobs that we are creating, whether it's in the nonprofit sector or the private sector, that they are comparable to the jobs that are previously doing the work? So I have these concerns about any type of outsourcing or contracting out. We have to make sure that the processes that we use do not put us in a situation where we are sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Because when people have to go on public assistance or food stamps or SNAP or anything to make up for the reduced costs, that hurts our community. I want to thank Stephen Madcore. He did get me information that gave me that Tribeca did tell us what the pay range was for per hour for these employees, and they're comparable per hour. I have asked for information regarding the entire compensation package, was not able to get that information, but that type of questioning should be part of our procurement process. We as the decision makers need to know what we are purchasing. So that's one point that I want to bring. I am concerned about that deeply, and I hope that in the future my commissioners will join me in framing this issue. We have a lot of opportunities for contracting out in a lot of areas, and we need to put some framing around that. Other issues, and I will go quickly, Chair Smith, I know we are short on time. I am concerned about when you get rid of an enterprise. So we actually have an enterprise of hauling biosolids. Yes, we're currently using some temp workers, or we're reassigning and we're doing some things, but we have an enterprise, we have a fleet, and yes, that fleet may need to be enhanced, but it's functioning, it's operating, it's not completely archaic. We have an infrastructure right now for this enterprise. And some things that I don't know, but I think would be worth exploring is there an opportunity to do some intergovernmental agreements with some other entities, whether that's Portland or that's Oak Lodge or whoever it would be that would need to, or Gresham, or is there any opportunities to combine and do intergovernmental agreements, keep this in-house in the public sector? I don't know the answer to that. The concern that I have is, yes, there may be short-term savings, but what are the long-term implications when we don't have the infrastructure to do this? To start this up in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, the costs will be much greater than what we could potentially be saving. So having the long view, I think, is very important. And whenever we're looking at outsourcing, we need to look at all of these factors. I'm concerned about us losing the capacity. So those are my thoughts. And I want to thank Stephen. I want to thank Greg for really working with me to try to get these questions answered. And I appreciate it very much.
For a follow-up on this, Stephen Madcore, did you not send an email to the Board of County Commissioners regarding Tribeca's pay structure?
Yes, Chair, I did, and that was earlier this week on Tuesday, and it provided information on the full range of benefits, retirement, PTO, medical, dental, 401k, and per hour wages available to the Tribeca employees that would be assuming these responsibilities should this board approve of this contract.
So we do have that information. Greg, do you want to respond to anything?
Chair Smith, my concern was the overall compensation package.
But Commissioner Fisher, you made a statement that I believe.
I said
we didn't have the information.
No. I thanked Stephen Madcore for providing the pay structure. I acknowledge that it's comparable. I was concerned about the overall value of the compensation, because when you put in sick time, retirement, all of that value, I don't know what the value of the compensation package is. We just don't have that information. In the future, when we look at outsourcing, we need to provide that. I mean, we need to ask for that. Okay, that's all I've got. Thank you, Chair Smith, for allowing me to clarify.
Greg Geister.
I would just say this is a loss of functionality. We won't have the fleet and we won't have the people. I would say, you know, Portland's been doing this for 20 years. And so they lost that functionality a long time ago. You know, we rely on chemical manufacturers. We rely on PGE. There's a lot of folks that we rely on from the private sector to do the work that we do. And this will be another one in that category. And an area of focus that I'm comfortable with. This is not our core competency. This is other people's core competencies. The same way we don't make our own chemicals. That's my position.
Greg, did your board of directors review this policy? I assume many times.
Yes.
Okay, and so that's an independent board aside from anything at the county. How many members are on it?
21 now.
21 people chimed in. Thank you. Commissioner Schrader, your hand is up.
I will apologize if there's some background noise, but I'm in a pretty quiet place right now. So I'm going to speak with multiple hats. Number one, I am, liaison to Water and Environment Services. And this discussion has been going on a long time. I attend those meetings. And if I recall correctly, Greg, tell me if I'm wrong. This was pretty much a very solid board decision to move forward with this, or as an advisory board for us. And this included elected officials who also employ our union brothers and sisters, as well as private sector folks. So we're not making this decision in a larger, vacuum. We are really looking at an advisory board that I think was instrumental in making sure that no union jobs were going to be lost in this transaction. And that was the feeling, that was the notion, that was the information I received all along. Now, I am a union family, and I understand that our brothers and sisters and our unions are always afraid of outsourcing, that somehow it's a camel's nose under the tent that we're going to privatize everything. In my estimation, after all that time I spent at your meetings and been with your board, that is not the intent here. And I hope that my union friends will give me a chance to talk to them in the near future. The point is this, putting on my workforce hat, you're actually going to be getting additional union employees that will be really dealing far better with your core competencies, which is what you're supposed to be doing, is watershed protection, surface water improvement projects, your ability to receive the requested ARPA dollars, rate management, and also capital delivery systems, and that is building more infrastructure in order to meet with growth. When I look at what, for example, Clackamas Community College offers in terms of water management, in terms of the technical education that they offer for folks to move into those jobs, they are readily available under your umbrella, and they are union jobs. So from my perspective, I'm looking at it as kind of a no-sum game here. We're not going to be losing union positions, because if I believe that we were, I would be a no on this. I actually believe that you're getting out of a core competency. It's not a core competency. So you're looking at it from a business model in that sense, which you have to look at as a business model because of ratepayers. All right. So that's the business model piece. But the management piece, from our perspective of protecting our employees and particularly our union folks, you've also managed to make that happen. And I will tell you, in my estimation, that the training the new folks will get, whoever you hire, to do these other core competencies will be equal to, if not more dollars than folks just driving biosolids back and forth. So that's kind of my thinking, and that's because I'm trying to look at it from a business model side as well as a union side. And I'm telling our folks, this is not an effort, I've been at the board meetings, not an effort to privatize the entirety of water environment services. We are just making, we're just actually going to augment or continue moving people into more functions that are more core to the mission of the Agency of Water and Environment Services. That's what I've heard from the board. As I said, I straddle two worlds, management and being a union mom, and also how do you integrate that in a business model? And I think that you've done a stellar job of integrating both of those things, honoring the fact that you're going to do your core competencies with high-paying jobs for union members. And again, folks, I have sat in on all of these meetings. I've been involved in them. I think that the cost savings will be a good thing for this. And I think it will really help them manage a very clear, focused business model with the other activities that they have to perform. And as far as the private sector, I would imagine, we're not always privy as public entities to what the private sector is offering to people. But I do know in this job market, particularly now, that the private sector is absolutely, and I saw Mr. Madcord's information, attempting to be as fair and just as they can with their private employees. But there is a difference between public and private. WES is going to remain a public entity employing union folks, and there's not going to be any job loss. So that's how I'm seeing it at this point. And again, I want to thank the board of WES for spending the hours and hours and hours it has taken to move this forward. I'm aware that I may make some people upset, and I am aware that I will face them face to face and explain to them why I did what I did. And hopefully they will understand that I see this as a workforce issue that will actually provide employees with better wages, better opportunities, and better opportunities for educating themselves in a scientific field. So
Thank
that's
you,
all.
Commissioner. For Commissioner Savas, I will join you when you talk to our union friends on this. I have no problems explaining my position as well. I agree with you, and thank you for your very articulate messaging on this. Greg Geist, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Chair Smith. I just wanted to address Martha's comment about the concern about this being a camel nose under the tent, and it absolutely is not. I've examined all of the work groups in WES. We were asked to take a hard look at how we do things and try to save money, and we did that. And this is the only piece of work that I've been able to identify that is outside of our core competencies. I have no intention of revisiting that.
Okay.
Thank
Any
you.
other commissioners or staff wish to make a comment at this time? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move for the approval of a goods and services contract between Water Environment Services and Tribeca Transport LLC for long-haul biosolids transport and application.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Fisher,
What'd you say?
Commissioner
I call for a
Fisher,
vote, Commissioner
Okay.
Fisher.
It broke up for me. Sorry, Shannon. No.
Commissioner Savas,
No,
Commissioner Schrader,
Aye.
Commissioner Stoll,
Aye.
Chair Smith.
Aye, motion passes 3-2. Thank you, commissioners, for your heartfelt comments. They were all very good. One of the times when we are free to disagree and take our votes accordingly. Commissioner Savas, your hand is up.
yeah. Just, Chair, I just want to ask to be excused. I have a commitment at 11 o'clock this morning in Wilsonville. So I want to thank the board for the time, and we'll see you in the coming days. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Savas. You are excused, and go forth and do well. Gary, what's up next?
Thank you, Chair. You are still meeting as the Water Environment Services Board. Next is the Water Environment Services Consent Agenda. Shannon, would you please read the consent agenda?
Approval of amendment number 5 to the contract with Murray Smith Inc. for 2019-55 pump station rehabilitation and upgrades project for the Bolton River Street and Clackamas pump stations. This amendment increases the contract by $476,942 for a new total contract value of $2,131,706, funded through West Capital Improvement Funds. No county general funds are involved. Acceptance of an indemnity agreement protecting the county and Water Environment Services from future claims or damages related to the vacation of a portion of Southeast 79th Avenue and infrastructure existing in the affected area. There is no fiscal impact. No county general funds are involved. That is the end of my list.
Thank you, Shannon. Is there any commissioner who wishes to remove any item off of this particular consent agenda? Seeing none. Shannon, would you please call the poll?
Did I get a motion?
You want a
Yes,
motion?
may I have a motion? I'm ahead of myself on the script. Yes, I need a motion.
I move for approval of the Water Environment Services consent agenda.
Second.
The motion has been made for approval of the West consent agenda by Commissioner Schull, seconded by Commissioner Schrader. Any further comment at this point? Hearing none. Shannon, now we can take the poll.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Stoll,
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader,
Aye.
Chair Smith.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much, board. I will now adjourn as the Water and Environment Services Board and convene as the Board of North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District. Gary, you are up.
Thank you, Chair. Next is the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District Consent Agenda. Shannon, would you please read the consent agenda?
Approval of a board order authorizing the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District to apply for a Metro Trails grant for development of the Trolley Trail multi-use path along Milwaukee Bay Park. The grant seeks $624,250 in funding with a required 45% match of $510,750 funded through system development charges. No county general funds are involved. That is the end of my list.
Does any commissioner wish to remove anything off of this particular consent agenda? Oh, something else. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Seconded.
Commissioner Schrader has moved for approval of North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District consent agenda. Commissioner Schull has seconded that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader,
Aye.
Commissioner Stoll,
Aye.
Chair Smith.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much, board. I will now adjourn as the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District and reconvene as a Board of County Commissioners for the next consent agenda. Gary.
Thank you, Chair. Next is the regular county consent agenda. Shannon, would you please read the consent agenda?
Elected officials, approval of previous business meeting minutes. Disaster management, approval of fiscal year 21 Urban Area Security Initiative grant agreement with the City of Portland for disaster preparedness projects. Total value is $364,215, funded through the Department of Homeland Security. No county general funds are involved. Health, Housing, and Human Services. Approval of a revenue intergovernmental agreement with Canby Fire District for reimbursement for access to the electronic patient care record software. Maximum value is $23,904.80, funded by Canby Fire District. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue intergovernmental agreement with City of Lake Oswego for reimbursement for access to the electronic patient care record software. Maximum value is $24,052.04, funded by the City of Lake Oswego. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue intergovernmental agreement with Clackamas Fire District Number 1 for reimbursement for access to the electronic patient care record software. Maximum value is $109,322.40, funded by Clackamas Fire District Number 1. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue intergovernmental agreement with Colton Fire District for reimbursement for access to the electronic patient care record software. Maximum value is $2,552.48, funded through Colton Fire District. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue intergovernmental agreement with Gladstone Fire District for reimbursement for access to the electronic patient care record software. Maximum value is $13,191.95, funded through Gladstone Fire District. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue intergovernmental agreement with Hoodland Fire District for reimbursement for access to the electronic patient care record software. Maximum value is $7,829.20, funded through Hoodland Fire District. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue intergovernmental agreement with Molalla Fire District for reimbursement for access to the electronic patient care record software. Maximum value is $27,610.76, funded through Molalla Fire District. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue intergovernmental agreement with Sandy Fire Department for reimbursement for access to electronic patient care record software. Maximum value is $24,542.92, funded through Sandy Fire District. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue intergovernmental agreement with Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue for reimbursement for access to the electronic patient care record software. Maximum value is $15,960, funded through Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue professional services agreement with Health Share of Oregon for point of contact provider services. Contract not to exceed $1,600,000. Funding is provided by Health Share of Oregon for fee for services. No county general funds are involved. Approval of amendment number 1 to a federal subrecipient grant agreement with Northwest Housing Alternatives for emergency shelter services. This amendment adds $25,535.50 for a new total value of $50,056.50. Funding through the Federal Department of Homeland Security Emergency Food and Shelter Program Phase 38. No county general funds are involved. Approval of amendment number 2 to the federal subrecipient grant agreement with Clackamas Women's Services. This amendment adds $25,535.50 for a new total value of $108,362.50. Funding through Emergency Food and Shelter Program Phase 38 funds for emergency shelter services. No county general funds are involved. Approval of amendment number 1 to a grant agreement with Impact Northwest for Shelter Plus Care Services. This amendment adds $63,310.68 for a new total value of $363,310.68, funding through budgeted county general funds. Approval of amendment number 01 to a contract with Project Quest DBA Quest Center for Integrative Health for WISH program services. Amendment adds $45,000 to the contract, $45,000 to the contract, increasing the maximum contract value to $135,000. Contract funded with Behavioral Health Fund balance. No county general funds are involved. Approval of amendment number 02 to a subrecipient grant agreement with CODA Inc. for Housing Assistance Program Services. Amendment extends the term of the agreement and increased the value of the agreement by $106,866.50 for a new maximum value of $706,639.03. Agreement funded by federal and state funds provided by Oregon Health Authority. No county general funds are involved. Approval of revenue grant agreement number 21418 for from Oregon Department of Education Early Learning Division for Healthy Families Oregon. Grant agreement has a maximum value of $1,969,591.26. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a revenue grant agreement for the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs to expand and enhance outreach services to Oregon veterans. Grant award is $74,871 funded through the State of Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs, grant number VS-0146. No county general funds are involved. Approval of amendment number 1 to the intergovernmental grant agreement number 171675 with the Oregon Department of Human Services for supplemental nutrition assistance program employment and training services. This amendment reduces agreement by $10,617.85. No county general funds are involved. Approval of subrecipient grant agreement with Clackamas County Children's Commission to provide healthy family program services to families in Clackamas County. Grant agreement is fully funded by Oregon Department of Education and has a maximum value of $1,978,864. No county general funds are involved. Transportation and Development. Approval of a resolution declaring the public necessity and purpose for acquisition of rights-of-way, easement, and fee properties for the Canby-Markham Highway at Lone Elder Road Intersection Improvements Project and authorizing good faith negotiations and condemnation actions. The right-of-way budget for this project is $151,706 and is included within the $1,043,579 total project budget. Funded through County Road Fund HB 2017, Community Road Fund, and Transportation System Development charges. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a supplemental project agreement with Oregon Department of Transportation for the Courtney Avenue Complete Street River Road to Oregon 99E project. Overall project cost estimate is $5,661,420, funded through Metro Federal Capital Grant Funds via Regional Flexible Funds Allocation Grant, State House Bill 2017, and County Road Funds. No county general funds are involved. Acceptance of an indemnity agreement protecting the county and water environment services from future claims or damages related to the vacation of a portion of Southeast 79th Avenue and infrastructure existing in the affected area. There is no fiscal impact. No county general funds are involved. Approval of a contract with Kittleson and Associates, Inc. for the Southeast Johnson Creek Boulevard 79th Place to 82nd Avenue project. Contract total is $534,533.31, funded through Arts Funds, Community Road Fund, Condition of Approval Permit, Clackamas County Development Agency, and County Road Funds. No county general funds are involved. County Council, adoption of an order approving an intergovernmental agreement with the state of Oregon related to funding for future courthouse. Total project cost is approximately $230 million, funded through a combination of local funds from the county general funds and matching funds from the state of Oregon. That is the end of my list.
Bravo, Shannon. That was excellent. If I didn't know better, I say you are a superstar Toastmasters. Very, very good.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fisher, your hand is up.
Thank you, Chair Smith. Yeah, Shannon, wow. That's all I have to say is wow, wow, wow. So on Tuesday, I raised a question regarding HIPAA, patient privacy. I got some response. I still have questions. I do not want to hold this up. I really trust our partners here and expect that this has all been, because we have so many groups working together, that this will all be fine. But I would like to abstain for those votes. I'm going to check in with Bill Conway when I have a chance just to get clarification. And I will most likely, at one of our next business meetings, change my vote from a no to a yes.
So are you going to vote no on the entire consent agenda?
No.
Or do you wish to pull out certain items? You need to tell me what those are. I think I know what they are.
Yeah.
I don't know, explain what they are a little bit.
My gosh, how do I get back to where I was?
I think it's all the agreements, the
yes,
contracts.
It's at the very beginning of the consent agenda.
With all the fire departments. Gary, your hand is up.
It's consent agenda items C, number 1 through number 9. C.
Sonia, is that okay?
Yes, and I just want to abstain on that. We can do it real quick. I don't want to hold it up.
Commissioners, we are going to remove consent agenda items C 1 through 9. We're going to set those aside and vote on those later after this vote. So with that forward, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with the removal of those 9 items.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Schrader has made a motion. to accept the consent agenda, the revised consent agenda. Commissioner Fisher has seconded that motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Schrader,
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Scholl,
Aye.
Chair Smith.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Now, I will entertain a motion for items C 1 through 9 that had been set aside.
I move approval.
Seconded.
Commissioner Schrader has moved for approval for consent of items C 1 through 9. Commissioner Scholl has seconded that motion. Any further discussion? Commissioner Fisher, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Shannon, please call the poll.
Commissioner Scholl,
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader,
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher,
Abstain.
Chair Smith.
Aye, motion passes 301. Thank you very much, commissioners. Gary, what's up next?
Next is public communication, Chair Smith.
Oh, good, okay. Let me refer to my, the portion of this agenda shall be limited to items of county business which are properly the object of the board consideration and should be nonpartisan in nature, as the BCC is a nonpartisan governing body under Oregon Revised Statutes and County Code. Comments shall be respectful and courteous to all. As a reminder, you can email submissions for public communication at bcc@clackamas.us, and these will be accepted as part of the public record. However, we will not be reading them at the business meeting due to time constraints. I will now open the meeting for public testimony. Shannon, can you please moderate this portion of the Zoom meeting?
Yes, Chair, thank you. At this time, if you were unable to register for the meeting, you will be allowed to raise your hand. If you are on the phone, you do that by pressing *6. First up on the registration list is Heather Ray. Heather, please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Heather Ray. I live on Ina Avenue off of McLaughlin in Clackamas County, unincorporated. And I also made a public comment on your last meeting of the year last year about Ridwell services and just my support of that ability to subscribe to that service in unincorporated Clackamas County. And I'm not going to dwell on that too much right now. I just wanted to address I sent some screenshots, and as a private citizen, just trying to find my way around how to become involved in my county government. I was just taken aback by the lack of information on this particular committee's page. I couldn't find any bylaws or regularly scheduled meetings. Or let's see, let me go back to that page that I was on. And then when I searched for bylaws in just the global search on the Clackamas County website, I didn't find any bylaws there either. So I'm just questioning where those might be. I have previous experience as an NDA vice chair and a PSAC, Public Safety Advisory Committee member in Milwaukee, the city of Milwaukee. So I am familiar with kind of how these committees and commissions work. And we were always needing to announce our meetings ahead of time. We had regularly scheduled meetings, and we also had published bylaws, and we also published our meeting minutes very quickly. I think we had to have them up within 2 weeks of the meetings. So I was just kind of looking for meeting minutes and kind of more information. And I was just kind of disappointed to find that the webpage for this committee was just kind of lacking in that. So I just wanted to express that. And I wish we could add some more information to that page if we could. And also I was noticing that the name of the commission is the Solid Waste it's named two different things. In the organizational chart, it's sustainability and solid waste. And on the committee's page, it's just solid waste. So I just wanted to point out that discrepancy. And that's about all of my time. So thank you very much. I appreciate being able to comment, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.
Heather Ray, thank you for those comments. You raised some really good points. I'm going to have our county administrator, Gary Schmidt, address your concerns, and hopefully we can get you involved in county government in some way. Go ahead, Gary.
Yes, thank you, Chair Smith. I really thank you, Heather, so much for the feedback. Always appreciate it. I'm seeing a link for, first I assume you're talking about the Solid Waste Commission. I do see a link that has minutes, agendas, and copies of videos. There is no bylaws posted, you're correct, but the link is well hidden. It's not easily accessible. So you've given us excellent feedback that we will address for this particular advisory committee. And I know our Public and Government Affairs staff is working to do this for all of our advisory committees. We have 55 of them, so it's a work in progress. We will do better. Thank you very much for this feedback.
Thank you. Shannon, please continue.
Up next is Lois Sanchez. Lois, please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Lois Sanchez. I live in West Lynn, and I'm calling to give Tootie Smith a big thank you and my appreciation and support for doing such a great job in Clackamas County. I want to say that Tootie has done a wonderful job during these difficult times during this pandemic, and it's very important to me that our freedoms and personal choices have been upheld by her, despite the mandates that were imposed on us by the Oregon governor. It's clear that Tootie understands and stands for free choice in a free society, and her strong voice and actions have been very important in upholding these values. I also want to applaud her for being a leader in assuring that monoclonal antibody treatments were available. And I believe she was instrumental in saving lives as a result of this. During other times of crisis, during the fires, during the ice storm, Tootie was out in the field with a hands-on approach, seeing what was needed and getting the help to people immediately. I appreciated that she called out the National Guard to perform wellness checks and was truly a wonderful leader in tough times. And now she has established an emergency preparedness council to respond in Clackamas County should there be another natural disaster. I'm also very impressed that Clackamas County is building a new courthouse, libraries, and other infrastructure improvements, not from increased taxes, but rather from secured grants and partnerships. Clackamas County is strong fiscally and is growing stronger. And Tootie, I wanted to thank you for providing smart, strong, and sustainable leadership in so many areas. Thank you for your hard work and your efforts to help us to have a healthy and strong community. Thank you all for all of your work.
Ah, shucks. I don't know what to say. Lois Sanchez from West Lynn, thank you kindly. Commissioner Fisher, your hand is up.
Yeah, Chair Smith, I just can't miss this opportunity to say thank you, Lois, for communicating today. I have so appreciated Chair Smith's stance on all about civil liberties, personal freedom, choice, a very incredible voice, and all of the things that you mentioned. I agree. We have been doing great things in Clackamas County, and it's so refreshing to hear that our constituents are paying attention. So thank you, Lois, so much for taking the time. And Chair Smith, you've heard me say, I think you're doing a great job hurting these kitty cats. The public might not see that all the time, but kudos to you, especially in this virtual format as well. That is not easy.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher, as well for your support and all my board support. Yes, I am not a tech person, and you folks know that I'm very uncomfortable in this format, and staff and commissioners, you've helped me and made it easier. Thank you. Shannon, who's up next?
Next up is Bill Weir. Bill, please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 3 minutes.
Just a moment, please. Good morning, Chair Smith and Commissioners. Bill Ware, Damascus. At yesterday's board meeting, it was to discuss and then vote on the processes, procedures, and protocols. There was a failure to bring this forward for a vote as it was felt that a 5-0 affirmative vote was unachievable. Commissioner Savas was one who wanted more work on the rules, and I feel he was completely justified. From my perspective, there were glaring omissions. What is the procedure for censoring a commissioner? How long can a chair declare virtual meetings instead of in-person meetings without a vote for continuance from the commission? Is Robert's Rules of Order the Bible of meetings or merely a suggestion for procedures on this committee? I'm still formulating my thoughts on this, and we'll probably have more. I'll put this in an email and send it. One area that was not addressed by this discussion is the requirements for commissioners to respect the public by attitude, appearance, and demeanor. Yesterday's Zoom meeting opened up with Commissioner Schrader, who appeared to be burping a baby. As the meeting proceeded, video revealed that the baby holding was part of the meeting. Barking dog or dogs also chimed in. I couldn't tell whether she was calling in from a dog kennel or a daycare center. Always distracted when called upon, she fumbles with her mute button and has to be addressed more than once by the chair. It is obvious that county business was not her priority. This is not new. I brought her disregard for the citizens up before more than once. The chair and other commissioners allowing this shows this commission is not serious in how it conducts business. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill Ware. I wholly disagree in your concluding remark that this commission is not serious. We are very, very serious. And I will submit to you that this particular Board of County Commissioners works more often than most governing bodies. And I used to be in the Oregon legislature, where we showed up maybe 4 or 5 months every 2 years. And our meetings were every other day, unless of course you were on Ways and Means, which I was. So I would submit to you that we offer opportunities to be flexible and we have remote participation on that. And we will continue to do that as long as it's necessary. Thank you. Shannon Faze, next speaker, please.
Up next is Diana Helm. Diana, please unmute yourself, state your name and residence. You have 3 minutes.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Diana Helm, and you guys are doing good work based on that lengthy consent agenda. Wow, that was amazing. As you know, I'm the chair of the West Advisory Committee. I would like to share my support for the vote you just took this morning approving the hauling contract between West and Tribeca. This contract will save millions in ratepayer money, support West staff that works so hard every day, and ensure that West can focus attention on the things that are core to its business, protecting public health and the environment, and supporting economic development. West staff briefed the advisory committee on this initiative nearly 2 years ago when it was first considered, and we wholly supported this opportunity. West sends on average a truck a day to Sherman County, and West employees cover nearly 2,000 miles per week hauling, plus driving a tractor to apply biosolids to fields. This long-haul trucking work is very different from the other work that West does every day. West hired a consultant to review the program and compare doing all the work in-house to contracting for the work to be done in the same way as is done by the City of Portland and Clean Water Services in Washington County. The consultant indicated that West will save approximately $3.5 million over the next 5 years in avoided costs and expenditures, mainly in equipment, and avoid the risk of accidents. That number will grow over a longer period of time. With inflation rising, we need to take advantage of every opportunity to keep costs down for our ratepayers. It is my understanding that the employees in the impacted positions have retired already. I commend Wes's leadership for finding a way to save ratepayer monies while also avoiding negative impacts to their employees. Wes is committed to repurposing the vacant positions and hiring union employees to do new work. So no jobs are lost, No employees are negatively impacted, and it is really, truly a win-win for all. WES is working to increase productivity, deliver capital projects, and deal with increased regulatory challenges. Thank you for your time and your support for this important improvement in the way WES gets work done. And just on another note, I'm going to take my chair hat off and my WES hat off, and I'm going to speak as a private citizen for just a second, and a business owner in Clackamas County, that I will say that I think this is such an important decision for WES to make. I don't believe it's in the county's purview to create new jobs necessarily. I think it is the most important thing that they are the best stewards of taxpayer monies. So I really appreciate Greg Geist's leadership in taking these monumental decisions and bringing them before the board and making sure that our taxpayers are protected. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana Helm. Up next, Shannon.
Up next is Anada Blackmar. Anada, please unmute yourself. State your name and residence. You have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Chair Smith and Commissioners. My name is Anita Blackmar, and I live in Oak Grove in the vicinity of the Concord Library Park Community Center project. The community has been told that the BCC wants a single unified message about how to go forward with this Concord project. A key decision needed now is whether our future library should be physically attached or physically separate from the existing school building. On February 17th, the Oak Lodge Library Board voted unanimously for the library to be physically separate as a freestanding building. On February 23rd, the Oak Grove Community Council, with the exception of 2 abstentions, voted in accord for the library to be a freestanding building. I would like to add my voice to this message from the community and recommend that the library be freestanding. This is a viable option for moving the Concord project forward right away. Since the library funding is independent from the community center funding and is currently in healthy condition, this allows the library to be built now and avoid waiting for the community center funding gap to be filled at some unknown time down the line. The head architect from Opsis Architects stated at the Concord Project Task Force meeting on February 16 that if we choose to build a freestanding library now and remodel the community center later, they can go in from the back of the existing school building to remodel the community center without causing disruption to an already functioning library. As one of my friends says, if we build the library now, it will light up the Concord site right away and initiate a social heart for the Oak Lodge area without further delay. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Anada, I don't know you. Thank you for your comments. You know, I agree with about everything that you've said today. I, for one, I am prepared to vote to construct the Concord Library. But as you know, there's 1 or 2, I don't know how many commissioners who want to see the project go forward. As you say, we do have funding, I believe, for the library. We don't for this entire project. So with that in mind, Gary, I would like to see the vote from that library board over there. I'd also like to see the secondary vote. Was it the community council took? Is that what I heard her say? And Gary, I have a question for you. This library keeps getting sucked into conversations regarding NCPRD. Are they not separate entities?
They are, yes, Chair.
I believe this board needs to start moving ahead with the Concord Library and look at them as separate functions and separate entities by continually bringing up the fact that NCPRD is either deficient or at fault or whatever the conversation of the day is. It is not serving our constituents. I do believe we need to move forward on the library. And in a couple of weeks, Gary, let's bring this conversation forward. And commissioners, I think we're ready for a vote on the library. So, you know, that's just where I'm coming from, Gary. Thank you for that. And Ms. Blackmar, thank you for bringing that forward to us. Shannon, who's up next?
Up next is Grover Jeffrey Bornfeld. Grover, please unmute yourself, state your name and area of residence. You have 3 minutes.
Well, thank you. My name is, as you heard, Grover Jeffrey Bornefeld, and I am a 32-year resident of Jennings Lodge. And thank you, Chair Smith, for those great comments. And thank you, commissioners, for your support that we've been receiving all this time. I really want to acknowledge, as I hope to do on a regular basis and have been, is your willingness to actually hear and address our requests and our concerns regarding spending of our special tax district dollars. You do sit as the board of directors of most of them that we speak of, and I appreciate your willingness to listen. Working to find the county-fied solution, which you're leaning in favor of, which I love, is because we do have the voter-approved 3310 that established that special district to service all. I agree with what Anita said in total, in that we need to look at what the community-supported solution is and have our one library, 2 buildings, consider all options. And the idea of having it be a separate to look at it with our own funding is a critical thing to address. Secondarily, I'd like to support what you already voted on, and I appreciate the change, your vote of returning the NCPRD organizational district-wide equitable representation working model. So we're going to have representation throughout the entire district. Those changes that you're working towards, which I appreciate, are all based on restoring inclusion for all residents, their voices and their needs. And this is a willingness to shift and align with what the voters had voted for their money to be used for in these special districts. So thank you for your support, and thank you for your support regarding specifically the next steps that were outlined by the Board of Business and Community Services and NCPRD back in January of 2021 about moving forward to implement community engagement process that establishes priorities for not only NCPRD's allocation from our money coming from our tax dollars that went to Metro to come back as our local share. And then secondarily, the additional part that's in that same memo and the same recommendations, that there will be additional discussions with the NCPRD District Advisory Committee citizen representatives from all 5 sub areas regarding funding sources that will inform the amount of SDC resources that come from the district, and in this case, Zone 1, city or unincorporated, to be proposed as the matching funds. I appreciate that you approved having it be matching funds from SDCs. I do believe, and I appreciate your support in actually having those matching funds be in line with the recommendation that is we actually come up with establishing priorities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Grover. Thank you for your engagement. I saw you sent us an email this week. I appreciate the emails from our constituents explaining their point of view. Continue to do that. Shannon, is there anybody else?
Yes, I have one more person on my list, Catherine Mack. Catherine, you have 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, state your name and area of residence.
Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine Mock, and I live in Oak Grove, Oregon, which is part of unincorporated Clackamas County. My topic also pertains to Ridwell, like Heather's comment earlier, and is therefore related but contains a separate ask. Ridwell, as you all may already know, is a service that recycles materials not currently recycled by members of the current Clack County Recycling Franchise Agreement. Ridwell has stopped providing service to Clack County, unincorporated, following a cease and desist letter issued by the county. I understand the problem here is that Ridwell is not currently in the franchise agreement with the county to pick up recycled materials. However, they are picking up materials that, while not picked up by current county services, are understood to fall under county franchise agreement. The examples of these materials are light bulbs, plastic film, used batteries, and plastic clamshells. Therefore, Ridwell has been banned from operating within unincorporated Clack County. Portland City Council and unincorporated Washington County have both provided at least temporary solutions to allow Ridwell to continue to operate in their respective jurisdictions. For example, Portland City Council approved an exemption to city code that allowed Ridwell and other companies to operate legally in the future on 6 October 2021 as ordinance number 190573. One of the updates within this ordinance was an amendment to the term recyclable materials. You can visit Portland City Code to see this change reflected in their definition, which now means any material that can be collected by franchisees or permittees as mixed recyclables. By contrast, Clack County Code for recyclable materials, our definition is any waste material or group of materials that can be collected and sold for recycling at a net cost equal to or less than the cost of collection and disposal of the same materials. There's no mention in our definition for recyclable materials being ones that can currently be collected by franchisees or permittees. A specific ask from me, therefore, is could we amend our county code to ensure recyclable materials only refers to materials currently collected by members of our franchise agreement? Is this under the domain of you all, the county commissioners, and would this allow Ridwell back into unincorporated Clack County? My ideal situation would be if we allowed residents to continue leveraging Ridwell until a long-term franchise solution is available. If needed, amend the county code now to make exceptions for services not offered through our current waste management. We can continue to work with Ridwell to incorporate them into our county's franchise in the future, or go ahead and boot Ridwell out with another cease and desist once a fully redundant local service is operating and franchised. Thank you for listening and for any additional light you can shed on this issue or action you can take to get Ridwell or an analogous service into unincorporated Clack County as soon as possible.
Thank you, Catherine Mack, and your representation of Ridwell Company. You have a lot of information that most of our normal citizens don't have. And Gary, I'm going to call on you. There is a very distinct legal process that we need to go through in order to this happen. And I believe the Department of Transportation, it's under their auspices. What is currently happening with the Ridwell situation?
Yes, commissioners, this is currently going to go before the County Solid Waste Commission, which you heard about earlier. That's the next step for them to review this and make a recommendation back to you. And then this will come back to you as the Board of County Commissioners for your decision if you want to change the code or not. So this will come back to you, but first our Solid Waste Commission is the next immediate step to review these proposals, make a recommendation back to you as a board.
And it is complicated, and we do have legal considerations. And I would like Catherine, is it Mock, to know that Clackamas County is not Portland, no way, no how, on any issue. We operate under an entirely different county code and Oregon revised statute than Oregon. Don't ever anybody in the community assume just because Portland is doing one thing under their solid waste management or their treatment of their public service people or even public safety, that Clackamas County will follow suit. We do not answer to Portland. We answer to the citizens of Clackamas County, and let me be very clear on that. Shannon, anybody else?
That is the end of my list, Chair. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Now is the time for Commissioner communication, and I have a list. I believe Commissioner Scholl, you are up first.
Yes, good morning, and thank you to our callers for your participation today. On your new Emergency Preparedness Council, last Thursday, we had the pleasure of meeting the council people on the new Emergency Preparedness Council for Clackamas County. And we talked about operational planning. And the work of this council will foster planning to make the county ready to react to emergencies like we've experienced in the last couple of years, with the intent to minimize hardship and increase coordination across the county. The people on this council are very impressive, and I know they're going to do a great job for the people of Clackamas County. And thank you again for stepping up to do this important job. On the Metro Policy Advisory Committee, we had a meeting last night. One of the discussion items was feedback to the Metro Council on the values and outcomes for the 2023 Regional Transportation Plan that will drive projects for the next 5 years. And you, as a resident of Clackamas County, can comment and see the Metro online survey at oregonmetro.gov/public projects. This new RTEP will drive projects that are going to be important to you, and you need to participate. And on the RID patrol that picks up trash in the metro area, it's a complaint-driven system. So if you call, you get action. Expect a turnaround in 2 to 3 days, and the numbers on the metro website. The RID patrol has picked up some 220 tons of trash from 320 locations in the last few months. If the trash is on a county road in unincorporated Clackamas County, you need to call our Department of Transportation and Development, and they'll see about getting that picked up. On food scrap disposal, currently 18 to 20% of all landfill material is food scrap. And the new pickup and disposal policy that Metro is working on will help reduce landfill issues and save some 5,000 long-haul truckloads out of the region each year. So if you're a business owner who's concerned about food scrap waste, you can learn more about this program at the Metro policy at their website, OregonMetro.gov. And finally, I want to bring to everyone's attention the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that's going to bring some $1.2 billion to the state of Oregon. Much of that money is already earmarked for bridges, electric vehicles, carbon reduction, natural disaster resiliency, but there's $412 million for discretionary funding. And that's where you, the citizen of Clackamas County, comes in. ODOT will be hearing public testimony on this in March on how to spend that money. And your ideas are going to be important. So check out the ODOT website on the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. And with that, I wish you all a good day. Stay dry and stay warm.
Thank you, Commissioner Scholl. Commissioner Schrader, you're up next.
Well, thank you, colleagues, for being so patient. I have a few things I really want to talk about, and that is I am busily preparing a report for you, as I know Commissioner Fisher will be. We'll be getting together next week to talk about the things that we want to report to you about from the National Association of Counties Conference. But one of the things I wanted to mention today that I think came up a bit earlier is that there is a Counties for Kids campaign that the National Association is working on. And one of the things they're trying to do is really help with a national initiative that I and Commissioner Fisher want to bring back here to our own county, which is an awareness campaign and website resources for county leaders who are committed to make investments in young children from prenatal to age 3. And through this initiative called Counties for Kids, we can access tools, resources, and educational materials to help us do that. And we are critical. Counties are all critical in actually pulling together the services for our youngest residents, working to shape childhood care systems, courses, and really making it able, it's an economic development issue as well, also for making it essential that parents have an opportunity to be in the workplace so they can provide for their families. And that's one of the reasons why I am so committed to small children. I am very committed to babies. I think that folks saw the other day. That was my granddaughter, who is the most beautiful thing in the world. Prenatal, she's now 3 months old. So I know firsthand what it's like to be working with small children and still maintain focus, still ask the appropriate questions, still do the work, still do the reading, but make a point as well that I'm a grandmother, but younger families at this point are going to need the help they need to expand services for infants and toddlers. So I'm really all go on that. And I just wanted to thank all of you because you all enjoyed Maeve Claire Sullivan the other day, who, yes, was gurgling and making sounds. But I appreciate that. I'm just glad that you guys all know that I'm a hard worker and that you appreciate my efforts. And you allow me to be flexible and to kind of push the envelope a little bit on how I think we need to do things as a commission and how we need to treat each other. And thank you so much, Chair Smith, for that, and Sonia and Lieutenant Shull and Gary and everybody else who's there. You make my life very happy because I have the opportunity to do this work and actually experience it firsthand. So more to come when I come back next week, and we'll see you soon. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Schrader. Commissioner Fisher, you're up next.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Smith. So Commissioner Schrader, you said a lot of the same things that I'm very concerned about, so I will not repeat that, but I do want to give you a personal thank you that you are present with us and available to talk issues and talk on the phone and continuing while you are away. And I really appreciate that very, very much. So thank you. So just on my mind, I know it's on the mind of all of us. We are in such a weird, I guess, weird kind of time. It seems like we are, our COVID cases are just going down, 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 down. And if people haven't looked, Philip Mason Joyner gave us a report. It really shows how COVID is receding. The latest numbers, we were at a 7% positivity rate, which doesn't really say much because actually who's getting tested if they have COVID. But that being aside, we're doing great on that front. On the other hand, it's freezing outside. We have our shelters open. Staff sent us a utilization. People are utilizing our shelters. We are doing incredible work on outreach and getting folks out in the community to say, hey, look, let's get you some help. That is all happening in the midst of all this. And I don't know if anybody's watching CNN, but we've got Russia invading Ukraine, which I know makes us nervous and unsettled. It's a very tumultuous time. So I just want to recognize that and let folks know that here at the local level, we are focused on, and I so appreciated Lois. I mean, all the things that she listed are the things that we are accomplishing. Courthouse, libraries, parks, homeless services, mobile crisis, suicide prevention. I could go on and on. The list is long and vast, and we are doing the work because we care, along with our constituents, about this amazing place called Clackamas County. And thank you, Chair Smith, for your leadership. I've appreciated you through this virtual time and look forward to us all being back in person again soon.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. I too really like in-person meetings because I like being with my commissioners. I'm a person who likes to read people's body language and try to understand them, and that's how I communicate as well. I'm sick of the masks. It's time just to, roll that back. Like Commissioner Fisher said, the hospitalization rate is so down. Our governor said she would lower it. It's time to lower it. It's time to go maskless in our society. It's time that our high government officials realize that citizens can make their own decisions, their own choices for their personal health as we move forward. Yes, they can offer up treatments. Yeah, they can offer up vaccinations, which I have said, yes, it is your choice. But mandatory mask mandates, mandatory vaccine mandates, I do not support. But at the same time, I have to protect my county that we don't lose our federal and state funding. And for those out there who think that's no big deal, who told me, oh, we don't care about that. That price tag, people, is $1 billion, $1 with $1 billion of pass-through money from the federal government and the state government that we provide for programs that all of you partake, including driving on the county roads to come to this building to testify against it. Secondly, I testified last Thursday afternoon at the Oregon Transportation Commission meeting regarding tolling. And I had points of clarification, and I also said that we need to not disproportionately start tolling on I-205 quicker than we do I-5, and that model is 1 year ahead, and that we need to work on diversion in our private communities. And guess what? We need to follow the federal law. Since when does the Oregon Transportation Commission and or ODOT get to throw out the federal laws regarding tolling? No, you don't. And this Board of Commissioners, I know, are in sync with that as we go forward. And my commissioners, all of my commissioners attended our very first meeting of the Emergency Preparedness Council, and it exceeded my expectations. Holy cow. First of all, our citizens council of 15 people plus 3 ex officio plus 5 county commissioners. These citizens people are some of the best, most proficient on all areas that we could have. And we went through an agenda and we established protocols that I did not think was even possible in the 90-minute meetings. I'm going to tell you, a lot of those people are much smarter than I am on some of this stuff. And I think I've had some pretty good education and FEMA certification. But that is what we have envisioned, that as citizenry coming forward to help us in managing any future disasters that we might have. This week, I also had a field trip, and I don't often get to go out, but I was so happy that the Portland General Electric leadership and Maria Pope and Randy Ely invited me out to the Sullivan Power Plant, and that's the power plant on the Westland side. And we toured that and we went through it, and I got to see a view of the falls that most people don't see, and it was fascinating. It's fascinating in that the power plant was built in 1895. Some of the first transmission of electricity from Oregon City side down to Portland that was ever had. It's still producing power to 15,000 homes. It has been retrofitted on earthquake with our modern technology. And what totally fascinated me, Mark, maybe you're a student of this, is they used the Roman technology. In that, when Romans built structures, they made everything with curves and the arched doorways. So that would fight off, for instance, huge floods, huge windstorms, and earthquakes. So the internal structure of that building was fascinating. They are also some of the best protectors of our fish runs up and the fingerlings going down. They have a 99% survival rate of the fingerlings coming down, and they hire one person to count the fish every single day. She has been doing it for 25 years. So what they do is they have a 24-hour video of the fish passage, but she takes that and condenses it into 8 hours and counts them and identifies their species. She's been doing it for 25 years. Hello, I don't think I could ever begin to do, I can't sit still long enough to do that. That was very fun. And so they are committed, Portland General Electric is committed to working with the tribes as we go forward on the Locks Commission, of which, thank you, Commissioner Schrader, I've been appointed on the State Locks Commission to try to balance out everybody's needs. PGE owns most of the property down there, which I was even surprised, even I think part of the paper mill property. So as we move forward on opening the locks, we'll be working with our partners down there, with paper mill folks, Portland General Electric, and any other partners we have. And it was just really fun. It was freezing cold, but it was bright, sunny. And it was just a good time. Seeing no other business before this commission, commissioners, thank you for your participation. All your good comments are always appreciated. Have a great weekend, everybody. Goodbye.